John Morrissey was definitely America's first sports superstar. People talk about, Paul Bunyan and the American myths and stuff like that, but if you look through the annals of boxing and horse racing and, just a man, an immigrant coming over to America, it's a true rags to riches story.
For most of his early life, the rags well outweighed the riches. The Irish-born Morrissey came to America at age 5. His family settled in Troy, New York, 30 miles south of Saratoga. He started earning his tough guy reputation as a young man, as a bouncer at a brothel and a menace to the local authorities. Self-educated and heavy-handed, Morrissey would take his act on the road. The gangs of New York era in Lower Manhattan was a perfect fit. It's where he would acquire that memorable moniker.
He's fighting another guy named McCann, and he's beaten and falls into a stove, and the stove is full of burning coals, and he falls on the stove, and his body is burning, actually burning, and he gets up and he wins the fight. And he's known from forever after as Old Smoke.
Old Smoke's backstreet brawling would soon lead him to mainstream fame. He went west during the gold rush. He was a grizzled gambler and a fistic phenom. When he returned to New York, Morrissey did so as a top bare-knuckle boxer, claiming the crown as heavyweight champ in 1853. Old Smoke leveraged that status into back rooms of New York politics. Morrissey got things done, be it by brawn or brains. He was now connected. And those he was connected to summered in Saratoga.
He was a guy who had a vision for Saratoga. He came up here, he saw the potential. There were trotting grounds here in the 1840s, and he took those over. And what he was able to do with that was just make an American sports dynasty up here. I mean, this is the oldest sports venue in the country, and that's all because of John Morrissey.
It was 1863. Well-heeled moneymen John Hunter, William Travers, and Leonard Jerome would put their names on paper, but it was Morrissey's muscle and know-how founding the famed track and reinventing the Spa City.
John's gambling connections were what really made this city. His clubhouse, which is now the casino over in Congress Park, it was a gambling palace at the time. I mean, it brought in presidents, leaders of industry. Mark Twain came to that venue. Back in Morrissey's era, it was called the Elegant Hell, because you could go in there and in 5 minutes you'd lose all your winnings.
Old Smoke was Steve Wynn long before any Vegas strip. He was George Foreman long before heavyweight champs sold their name and fame. And he was back home, where he once was a thug, now as a king. Even voted into Capitol Hill to cap it all.
He dies in 1878 after serving 2 terms in Congress and 2 terms as a state senator in Albany. When he's buried in Troy, 19,000 people come out to his funeral.
I think when you sum up John Morrissey, you look back at a guy who survived and thrived because of his mentality, because of his aggressive nature and willing to go after things, whether he had to do it physically or whether he had to do it mentally. But, he was a 19th century Rocky Balboa, Indiana Jones. I mean, a life full of adventure, a lasting legacy, and Saratoga would not be the place it was if it was not for John.